Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Welcome back to the show. We have another interview that I'm excited for because once again, this is someone who I met through mutual friends. Guest, please introduce yourself.
So my name is Tyler Akam, and I'm a musician. I'm from Wattsburg, Pennsylvania.
Wattsburg?
Yeah, it's like a little town called Wattsburg here in PA.
Okay, I didn't know if I heard that correctly. Wattsburg, PA. Now,
Yep.
Do you know how far is that from Pittsburgh by chance?
That's got to be like 2 hours and something minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Actually, wait, not 2 hours. I was thinking Cleveland area, but around 3 hours or so.
Wow, 3 hours, man. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you're out there. So how far is that from like Oil City? Now, is that closer?
So it's about 45 minutes from Oil City, I believe. Yeah. Okay. I'm just guessing. I'm really terrible with the whole thing about that.
That's okay, because I have a horrible sense of direction. If you can, so so musician, and we're gonna get into your musicianship. I like to interview creatives, any type of artist, musician, anybody with an imagination and some creativity. So that's what we're going to get into today. Let's get into, well, actually, let me be polite. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It was a good day today. Beautiful out. All that stuff. So we went outside not too long ago. So I was enjoying the outside.
Yeah.
Getting some air.
Oh, sorry. How have things been going with the pandemic and everything? Just, staying in the house, doing that type of stuff.
Honestly, it's been up and down. Like there's been bad days where, you get emotional about it. You're like, man, I really want to see my friends. This really stinks type deal. But then there's better days where it's more positive, getting through it. So I think, meetings and service and all that stuff really helps that we still have that. So, ups the spirits.
Now, you don't have to say what you do, but have you been able to work through the pandemic?
So there was about like a month or so that we didn't work. But I'll just say where I work. My dad owns a window washing business, but a cleaning business. And after a month or so, we started working again.
Okay, that's good. Now, I'm going to get into some of the questions, just to get a little bit into your background. So you're from Wattsburg, Pennsylvania, about 3 hours away from where I'm at in Pittsburgh. What was life like growing up in Wattsburg?
Very chill. We live in a country area, so it's not a whole bunch going on.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been chill, but it's been awesome growing up here because me and my family, we love the country, so we got dirt bikes and stuff like that. So we kept entertained for sure. So it's been awesome growing up here. Yeah.
Okay, so dirt bikes. What else did you and your friends or family do for fun there?
So right around here, like obviously with my family, because I'm a musical family, so I got to grow up with drums and some guitars in the house. So we had that. Music was kind of our main thing. And yeah, just chilling around the house, chilling outside.
So
pretty much that. So whatever you can do, basically.
Yeah,
we pretty much did.
Like you said, it was pretty chill, and you kind of bled into my next question. Like, what were you into creatively? And you talked about drums, guitar. So your family has a history with music.
Yeah, my grandpa, so my grandpa on my dad's side, he actually had drumsticks from, was it the 50s?
Mm,
Somewhere around there. He grew up uh, playing drums a little bit. I think it was back when he was in high school or something like that. I
okay.
don't know the whole backstory on that, but he had that. That was really cool. And my dad, he bought a Les Paul before he had us. So me and my brothers, and then he had this sell it when he had my first brother. So
Gotcha. How many
it's kind of a
siblings?
sad moment for him, but
How many siblings do you have?
so I have three brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, are they into music like you are?
Yes. Yeah. That was kind of the main thing. My one of my brothers is really into music,
Okay.
playing it all that. My two other brothers, they eventually got married and all that, and then their time is spent on that, their family. So they
Okay.
still jam the music though.
Yeah, you guys had a whole little band, four, three other brothers, four of you total. That's a little the Acom 5 or Acom 4, excuse me.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah, I have one brother. But it would have been cool to have, two more and have like a group. Like one person does each thing. Like one could beatbox, one could sing, one could rap, one could I don't know. But anyway, how did
Oh yeah, just like brothers all around.
yeah, like uh so
Just like
how
10 brothers and they're doing all sorts of things.
yeah, I wish.
Sorry, it's lagging really bad.
You
I
know what?
apologize.
You know what? I noticed that too. Um, I wasn't sure. I'm like, did he not hear me? And then you would respond eventually, and then I'm like, okay, it just might be a bad lag. So it's okay. We can have an awkward interview.
Yeah.
We'll just let the people know that this is going to be real awkward. But that's how you know this is real. This is live. Well, not live for them, but
Oh yeah, lots of
this
lagging.
there's going to be a lot of lag between Pittsburgh and Wattsburg. That's just how it is. So let me ask you this: how long have you been recording music?
So I've been recording music for 4 years, about 4 years.
Okay.
And I started recording music on GarageBand on my iPad. And I made one or two terrible albums, like completely horrible. But I was glad I started that because I eventually got more into it. Because I was so used to just playing shows, little shows here and there, graduations and all that stuff with me and my brother. And then we had little bands here and there. And then we had like a legit band for 5 years or so. And we are just so used to playing live, playing that style. And then I never really got into recording. And then eventually got into it when I was young. So started on GarageBand.
Okay, so you mentioned two bad albums. In your opinion, they were bad albums because when I go on Apple Music, I see no albums. I see singles, and I'm like, I wonder if he has an album out there that I'm missing. And I never got a chance to ask you. I'm like, do you have an album out? But I'm like, you know what? I'll just ask during the interview. So, is there any chance of these two bad or horrible? I forget the your terminology. Is there any chance that we can see those on Apple Music, Spotify, all streaming services?
I don't know. Maybe in the future. I'm gonna say maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't say for sure. Like, oh yes, it's gonna happen type deal. I'm very like, I don't know, with music, I'm just kind of random. Like I kind of jump from little styles here and there, mix it up, and then the way I'll say, oh, it would be cool to make an album. This is what I'm thinking, and then I'll switch to, oh, maybe I'll make an EP. I almost said IPA. That's a beer. An EP, and I don't know. I'm just kind of all over the place because I'm like, oh, this sounds really cool. I'm gonna try and do that. but then I'm like, nah, maybe I won't. So it's kind of up and down. So maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, if you ever do, let the Cool Hand podcast know first, because I want to listen. I want to listen to your
I
to
will,
your
man.
to your old work. If you ever want to put it out there. Now, my next question for you is: so you had an influence from your family with music. Now, coming up, not your current influences, but what else influenced you to get into music? And what specifically do you do in terms of creation with music? Do you sing, rap, produce, instruments? So that's kind of a heavy question. So first, what else were influencing you to make music?
Back in that time, playing music. So one of my brothers would listen to bands like Blink 182, Sum 41, those old bands that were pop punk, I guess, and then rock. And it was very mixed in my family because my mom would listen to, what was it, pop 80s on the radio, that type of stuff. And then my dad would listen to like classic rock and stuff like that. And it was kind of mixed, which was great because I could listen to all types of different music. So that was great growing up with those musical influences. And me and my other brother, we geek out a little bit over the band Rush. I'm sure you heard of them. Yeah.
Yes, but not too familiar with Rush's music.
Oh, okay. Definitely check them out. I don't know like all of what other types of music that you listen to, but they're really great. Just each of them, they're a 3-piece band and they're just amazing. Like I'll watch them every time and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like I can't even do that, which is very humbling. So that's good. So yeah, it's very mixed. Like when I sent you the playlist, there's a bunch of different stuff on there too. So eventually, like, was it maybe 3 years ago, I started listening to different stuff too, and artists like, sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now, but I'll try and think about them later. I'll mention them.
No, that's okay. I want to make mention for the people who may be listening or watching this when this comes out. Tyler sent me a playlist because just to get to know him a little more creatively and what he was influenced by and just what he's into in general. Tyler sent me a playlist of, I believe, 260 songs there.
Yeah, right around there.
And up until then, I was listening to your music, the music that you had available, just to get a better feel for what you were creating. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But I did get to listen to, if I was to give a percentage, maybe we listened to maybe 12 songs from the beginning of the playlist. Because we had a car ride, a 40-minute car ride to where we were beforehand. We did a little drive-by graduation ceremony for a friend. So we were listening to the playlist all the way there and all the way back. So it was
okay, cool.
Yeah, it was a good playlist. We had some real chill stuff on there, some feel good summer music, and I'm like, you know what, this is very fitting to the music that he makes. So just to give a little more context into what you meant by the playlist. So now you talked about uh, the musical influences coming up, the 80s pop, the classic rock, listening to Rush. And what all do you do to create music? What do you do? What do you play? Can you tell us that?
So when I was young, when I was getting into music, I started on drums. So my brothers would be gone somewhere, and then I'll be like, "Oh, sweet, this is my moment." I'd jump on the drums, and then I started there, and I was playing for a few years until my parents found out that I was drumming upstairs. They're like, "Oh, you're really good." And I was really shy back then, so I was just kind of like, "Oh no, they know it's me." So I just kind of like stopped, I guess, for a little bit. Like whenever my family would be gone, I would just like jump on. So I started there in drums for a while, and then I switched to guitar because one of my friends was playing guitar. I'm like, "Oh, this is really cool. I want to get into this." And then I started lessons for maybe 7 years or so. And starting off, it was kind of, I just wanted to be like a rock star, like anybody. They're like, "Oh, I want to play this really well, do solos and stuff like that." And then eventually I got more into it, and my guitar teacher started showing me. I'm trying to think of the one artist that inspired me, but he showed me jazz music, and I slowly got to appreciate that more. And I'm like, man, this music is amazing. Like, I think that's what clicked. I don't know, it just clicked in my brain. And I'm like, oh man, there's so much more music out there, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like coming from rock and pop 80s and stuff like that, music that I'm used to. And then it's just opens it up, I guess. Like when I started taking guitar lessons, which I really appreciate. Not only was he a super cool guy to work with, I honestly miss having guitar lessons with him because he was a super cool guy. But yeah, I'm trying to remember the one artist, but on the playlist, I'll just send the song and tell you about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much that after the lessons, and then I just continued, and then right around that time started recording music and all that, and joining a band for about like 5 years or so.
Okay. What was your band's name?
So we took all of our names and meshed them together.
Oh.
So it was Tyler, Ben, Josh, and Zach. And then we named it Ty Beno Shack.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds
it was kind of lame, but we're trying to, yeah, it does. It does actually. But yeah, we just, I don't know. It's hard to make a name at first, but we just like, this works, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And what did you do?
So we just went with it.
What did you do in the band? Was it, did you do drums and guitar or just one or the other?
So when we played shows, I would just play guitar, and then the others, the drums and all that stuff. So I played rhythm guitar, but there is some songs that I got to solo on.
Oh, nice. Shout out to Ty Benishak. Is the group disbanded by now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been disbanded for, it's got to be, I don't know, probably, I'm just going to guess around 2 years. So it's been disbanded for a while.
All right. Well, long live Ty Benishak. Then I'll say that. Now, do you produce the music that you make? The beats and all that stuff. Do you make that?
I do, yeah. I started making beats and all that stuff more on GarageBand because I didn't want to just put a loop on there. I thought that was really lame. I want to do it myself. I want to learn all this stuff. And this year, I've done more collaborations and stuff, and then having Tevin help me out with just mixing and mastering and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
kind of figuring it out. So that's been, I've been grateful for that. But yeah, I try to do everything that I can.
Yeah, that was
making beats and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was a question that I had too about collaborations, collaborating with people, and I knew you and that T Plus, aka Tevin, who I've interviewed twice already. Yeah, twice, I think. Okay, but yeah, I was gonna ask because you did a song with him. I think now, did you do a feature on one of his projects and he did a feature on one of yours?
Yeah, we did. So Oh my goodness. That's the problem. When I get on the interview, I forget everything.
That's okay, man.
So
That's
when you ask
okay.
me the question and then I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known. And then after it, I'm going to be like, oh, I remember everything.
It's all right.
But so I did one track, just a guitar track for his his last EP, I believe. I forget the name of it, but I did the one little guitar track on the one song. And I think it was like Rainy Days or something like that. I could be wrong though. And then he did a track on one of my songs. So he did the beats for it.
Okay. Yeah, that's it's you answered one of my questions because I was interested when I was listening to your music and I'm like, okay, I see you on Instagram playing the guitar and you'll be playing around with the guitar and I saw you on one of your posts just playing with some production equipment, but I wasn't too sure if you produced the music that I was listening to. And that's really cool. It's you're multi-talented, and I think that's cool. The singing, guitar, drums, production, and you know what? On one of the songs, you were like kind of rapping some, weren't you?
Yeah, I was rapping a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
trying to get better at that though, but
yeah. That was
yeah,
on Let's.
slowly getting into it.
Was that Let's Press Play that you were flowing a little bit?
Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, it's got to be Let's Press Play. The other one was just a kind of like a pop punk type deal, so it was like a different genre on
Gotcha.
Hallmark Channel. But Let's Press Play wanted to throw down some in the middle.
Yeah, some throwing down some bars. I like it. I like it, and it seems like it's like you just keep finding something new just from talking to you this much and listening to your music and even listening to the playlist that you sent me. I can see that you like to explore, and it sounds like you have fun with your music sounds very fun, sounds warm, loving. You know, it sounds like it's meant for people to have a good time and enjoy themselves too. Did I judge that right?
You did. That was perfect. Yeah. I love to make music that um it was cool because I found like a video on that and I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? This is um sorry, I lost my thought. So I watched the one of the videos. His name is Jacob Collier. Shout out to an amazing musician. I don't know if you heard of him, but I would check him out.
Yes, and then the song I heard on your playlist, I think there was like Jacob Collier featuring Ty Dolla Sign or something like that.
Yeah, that one. That was
Me
just
and my wife like
amazing.
that.
Oh yeah, he's insane. Like producer and all that. But anyways, I watched one of his videos and he was talking about making music and all that. You know, making music that you feel is you. You're being honest, and you're making music that you want to make. But also, um, I lost what I was gonna say again. um, Making music that you want to make, but also not being selfish, I think is what he said. Um, Sorry, I keep losing my thought.
It's all
Anyways,
right.
like you were saying, so like having music that makes people feel good.
Yeah.
What is I was trying to say?
No, that's all good. And that's good. Like it's refreshing. You know, sometimes I can be drawn to a bunch of depressing music, you know, some and you know, I can be the happiest person in the world, but the type of music I gravitate to is like some like, you know, heartbreak, uh sad, you know, type of stuff. Maybe because, you know, it makes me feel something, you know, tap into another part of my emotions. I don't know. But listening to this, I'm like, okay. Like, you know, I want to smile listening listening to this. I want to like have fun or like, you know, do something cool. So I like it and I like the aspects of your music and I like that you don't get comfortable or get into a certain niche or niche, whatever the word is, and just stick to a one basic format. You keep transforming.
Yeah, that helps you grow as an artist for sure. Trying little things here and there.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to your lyrics, do you make lyrics, let's say, 100% based off of personal experience? Because like you have the song about sushi, and then In the Winter, which is my favorite song. In the Winter is probably
you like In the Winter?
That's probably my favorite song from you. I wrote that down. I really liked that song. That's right up my alley.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, that was one of my favorites recorded back in the day.
When did you make that song?
I think I made that in 2018.
Okay, it's a couple years old.
Around that time. Yeah, I made the other song Gelatos, and then In the Winter that same time.
And can one,
or maybe that was next year that I made Gelatos, but
yeah, I listened to, speaking of that song, I listened to the Gelato song. Like, I got straight off of work and I was going to go to the basketball court. There's a basketball court, you know, that doesn't get a lot of play around this area. So like, it's cool to socially distance there. There's nobody around but me. So I'm like,
oh, cool.
And the sun was out and I'm like, I'm listening to the Gelato song. I'm like, oh man, this is a good vibe. So you make
that's awesome.
You make some good riding around in the whip on a sunny day music. It's good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Oh yeah, I give props. Welcome to the Cool Hand Podcast. We give props. We give credit.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be on here.
Oh yeah, glad to have you. Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. So, do you have like a special, based off of your music? Do you have a special relationship with the winter, with sushi, with gelato, with sparkling water?
A lot of those things, actually. I love sushi. That is one of my favorites, for sure. I love wintertime. You get to wear all your sweaters and all that, be really comfy. I love that. I love summer too, but in the middle of July, I'm not a fan.
Okay.
Because it gets super hot, and I don't know. Sometimes you just want to stay inside with your cool air conditioner, drinking a lot of cold water.
You know what? Now this is where I have to disagree with you. I do not like the wintertime. I'm not a fan. I liked it when I was a kid. I don't like warming my car up in the morning to go to work, leaving early.
That is kind of annoying.
I'm over the wintertime. Pittsburgh didn't have a bad winter this past winter, but I just don't like it at all. I'll take the cold. It can be 0 degrees outside. Leave the snow and the ice somewhere else. I just don't care for it. I don't snowboard. I don't ski, so I don't care. But that's good stuff.
That's true. There's a lot of people that, if you don't ski or don't snowboard, then it's like, what are you going to do? It's like you just go outside with your coat and all that, and you go back inside.
Yeah, it's like I got to scrape my car off, turn it on. But anyway, this isn't about me. This is this is about you, Tyler. Now, when it comes to your music, who are some of your current inspirations?
So my current inspirations, you got Jacob Collier. Now I'm gonna forget everything. Jacob Collier, Tom. There's another one that I mentioned to you, actually. Trying to remember.
I remember.
Oh, Charlie Puth.
Oh, Charlie Puth. That's right.
Yeah, one of him too. As a producer, if I didn't even like his music, but I would appreciate his producing. But I mean, I also love his music too. He's got a few good ones of his older stuff, but his newer stuff is just so funky and groovy, and just, you feel good. and he was talking about it. Actually, I found it interesting. Disguising a song, like he wrote it at first piano, and the lyrics were just so depressing, and then the way he played the keyboard, it just sounded really depressing, and then he transformed that into this fun just bop that you can just groove around in, even though it's kind of depressing lyrics. He just kind of mixed it in there. And I'm like, I want to do that with my music eventually, because Hallmark Channel is different genre, but a type of song, and it's more serious. Because you got a love story in there, the Hallmark Channel, and the opening lyrics that I had was that you don't know what you have until it's gone. So I want to get more serious in my lyrics, but also kind of disguise the music so it's not like just 100% depression going on everybody and everybody's sad type deal. But I just want people to, like, I don't know, think about things, but also enjoy the music too. So I want to try and, I don't know, get better at that, mix it well.
I like that. So let's get into that a little more. So about what you're going to get into with your songwriting. But let's talk about for your creative process with making music. What's your process like? Do you write lyrics first and then start playing some chords or make a beat? What comes first when you start making a song?
So it's very different each day. So maybe one day I'll start on the bass or groove on the guitar, or I'll have lyrics on, like, I'll have a voice memo and maybe I'll sing to it, like a few lyrics that I'm like, oh, I'll write that down or record it on voice memo. So each day is different. So I'll have like a keyboard part or something like that. I'll start off and then I'll just build it.
Okay. And what's your favorite song of yours and why?
One of my favorite songs that I'd say Hallmark Channel is one of my favorite songs right now. And then Let's Press Play. My other stuff, I think I'm getting, I don't know, a little bit tired of it, I guess. Especially because I'm getting better and I see all the flaws in my older stuff, okay, which I realized, like, in the time I didn't really know what I was doing at the start. I just released it. I didn't really master my stuff too. I just kind of tried to make it sound good and then I just released it because I'm like, oh, I want everybody to hear this, and then I regret it. I'm like, oh no, it's on Apple Music now, and I listened to it again and I'm like, oh, it sounds so terrible with the mixing. But yeah, I would say one of those two songs that I just released.
Okay. And why those two songs? Is it because you have gotten better over time?
It's that getting better part, but also because those songs are more serious. And I don't know if I answered you before, because you said, I think you asked with my lyrics, is it like 90% or 100% like what I'm dealing with? And so I would say that for sure, what I'm dealing with. So like Disco Lady is just a more fun song that I created, just thinking about it. I'm like, oh, writing a story type deal. And then these songs are what I'm dealing with, feelings that I felt. And I just wanted to make stuff like that. So like making more serious stuff.
Yeah. Now, I personally like that type of music, like the more serious stuff because the thing is, we're all human, and we all, as weird as we all personally may be, we may have little quirky things about us. But I always think at least one person will relate to this, like, so even maybe your most obscure trait and you sung about it, 50 people can dislike it and one person be like, he's really talking to my soul right there, because that's the
Yeah.
thing. And I like that. And it also makes one question, like, oh, okay, he's singing about this. Oh, he went through this. Like, I'm not going to ask about your like personal relationships, but I'm like, okay, it sounds like he was a little heartbroken at one time. Don't answer that, because but
Oh, I won't.
yeah. Please don't. But I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
gonna.
That's in the past, but
Yeah. I'm not trying to dig into your personal life, but it just makes people think like, oh man, this is kind of this person feels human emotions just like I do. I'm sure every person, no matter if they were like 8 years old, 18 or 28, has felt some type of heartbreak before. So it's something that, someone can relate to. And even for me, like, I can draw back on a past experience of, heartbreak of, the girl when I was in 5th grade, something like that. So,
yeah.
I love that type of stuff. Of course, don't make music for me, but I'm always open to like the real personal music.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like you're saying, one person might, get it. He's just like, dude, I genuinely love this song and I appreciate it. I listen to it all the time. And it could just be one person and it makes your day.
Absolutely. Now, let me transition into the challenges. You mentioned some things before about your past work where you're kind of over it or tired of it because you were still just starting out and you just wanted people to hear the work that you put into the music. But what's the challenging part of creating the challenging process? Like, you may have thought something was good and then you listen to it afterwards and you're like, this wasn't as good as I thought. What are some of the challenges that you personally go through in your journey to make music?
Whew, that is a good question. Um, yeah, with everything, I would say, when it comes to getting into producing more, because I recently transitioned, I was slowly upgrading my stuff. So learning that, and I feel like I'm just starting this again, which is cool. It's scary but cool at the same time, because I'm like, it's really fun. It's a big challenge for me. I get to learn this Ableton Live and all this stuff, and I never had a MIDI before in my life, and now I have it. So it's really awesome to have it now. But yeah, there was a lot of challenges, especially in GarageBand. Like starting off, I'm like, I don't know how to use this. So it's like, when you're starting off. But yeah, just with everything, with lyrics too. I feel like I'm just terrible with lyrics. I could be way better, but yeah, there's a lot of challenges in that, and getting better, guitar, bass, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
List keeps going on, but it's very humbling, and I'm glad, because honestly, if it was just so easy for me to do, then I probably wouldn't be interested in it, as much as I do now, because there's just so many challenges, and, it's just kind of thrilling to get over that one challenge. You're like, okay, what's next type deal, but also enjoying it, enjoying the ride along.
I love it. I love that answer. I love it. I love that answer. Now
I'm glad, because I feel like my answers are terrible.
No, you're
So I
cool.
try to
You're cool. So we talked about the challenges, and you touched on this too. There's, getting over those hurdles. It's rewarding, and I can relate to that. So can you talk about the satisfaction you get from creating music?
So I could even so there's a lot of satisfaction with creating music. Obviously, making it for like anybody to hear, and I don't know, I'm really excited to hear back from people. that have listened to it, and even if they say I don't really like it or it was okay or whatever, you know, it's very rewarding, even if they don't really like it, I guess. I'm sorry, like what'd you ask before here?
Just the satisfaction you get from creating music.
Yeah. So just playing, even just recording. So I'm recording a song or an album and I'm not even done yet and people haven't even heard it yet. You know, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and that's the first thing. And then yeah, getting satisfaction from that, because you should enjoy what you're doing, otherwise like why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Type of thing. So I guess I should have answered that first before I answered the other part, because that part's cool too, because obviously making music for other people to hear, and you're really eager to hear what, you know, they're gonna say, what they're gonna reply to, and that's cool too. So, but the main part is having fun what you're doing, you know, pre-production, post-production, that type of deal.
All right, thank you for that. And you dropped hints. Maybe you didn't know, but you said you were recording an album. So
Not an album, but I'm hoping an EP in the future. So I'll drop that, hopefully.
how far are you into it?
Honestly, I just scratched the surface on this
Okay.
thing. I have a lot. I was talking to Tevin about it too. I was laughing. I'm like, dude, I just have so many files in GarageBand. It's like I don't know what to do, because like I have just like these little bits here, and then maybe I'll have like a fuller demo here. But I'm like kind of about it, like half and half. Like I like it, and then the other half I don't like it. You know, all this just mess. But he told me, he's like, dude, you're a producer now. And I like felt like really good about it. I was like, because I didn't view myself as a producer. I'm just like, I'm just making music, I'm doing whatever. But yeah, that was cool too. I was like, oh wow, like I never have thought about that. It's just like I have so many like tracks that I didn't even finish or probably won't finish in the future. But I don't know. It's just like a whole big mess. Sometimes you kind of run into maybe like a track you made 2 years ago, and then you're like, oh, that has a good beat to it, that has a good guitar part to it, and then maybe you'll take that and put it onto your next project. I don't know. That's really cool too. You know, having all that stuff there. I need to get a hard drive with all this stuff. Just have it just in case.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I just bought one too. I bought a 500 gigabyte hard drive. And you know
Awesome.
what? And you know what? It's good that you have Tevin, because like somebody like, you know, experienced like him, and those people are very resourceful. Like I go to crowded places for like advice and stuff on audio stuff. Like he's helped me out a lot. I'm sure Tevin's helping you out a lot. You know,
Oh yeah, major. Yeah.
What's probably one of the best tips that you've gotten from someone experienced like him since you've been creating music and producing and so on?
Oh man, this is probably going to be one of those things where if I do remember it, I'll let you know. But yeah, I don't know, the greatest tip I ever gotten.
Or something that was notable that stood out to you that he let you know. Could be simple, but it just stood out to you.
I think he was talking about mixing or mastering, or even just things to buy, like production equipment, you know, maybe a MIDI. Like, dude, you should get this MIDI. Actually, I didn't even get, because I have the MPK Mini. And oh my goodness, this thing is amazing. Like, it's simple, but it's amazing. And it was really cheap too, but I think he mentioned it to me before I even got it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna break down and get it. And I got it. So just little things like that I appreciate, having people that are, you view as like, oh man, this producer is my friend, he's up here kind of. And I'm like asking him like, oh, what should I do, what should I get, does this song even sound good, like mixing wise, or like how I created it. So things like that. So I just kind of like answered it all.
No, that's perfect.
Like anything that they might have said. But yeah, that's the one little thing I remember him mentioning to me.
So the audio equipment and things like that, the MIDI. And so what do you look forward to? And just closing out for some of my last few questions, what do you look forward to for the future of what you're creating, what you're working on? What do you have to look forward to? What can we look out for in the future?
There's so many things that I'm looking forward to, just getting better at my equipment alone, and making different music, messing around with different sounds. One of the videos Charlie Puth made, he was going over one of his songs that he made, and he literally took one of his voice memos of a basketball. And it was really cool. He took that and put it on Ableton Live or whatever program he was using. And he just kind of mixed it to one of the point, I don't know, like just completely just changed it the way it sounded. It sounded really cool on the keys, and he played it. And I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and it's very creative too. It's not just taking maybe one of the programs that you're using and taking one of their sounds, but he's being creative and then using other stuff too. So I don't know, just messing around with stuff, getting used to the equipment that I have, and then when I'm more comfortable with it, really getting creative, really digging down and doing different stuff. So I'm really excited for that, kind of getting used to it. The new stuff that I'm getting, like Ableton Live, I'm like, what do I do? That type of deal. And then now that I'm starting to figure out stuff here and there, actually I was playing my guitar one of the days that I was trying to record, and it was lagging really bad, and I was just so annoyed by it. I'm like, what do you do? And then I finally figured it out. Like, you just like change the samples to like 32 samples or something like that. And I'm like, oh, sweet. Just like something kind of simple. And I'm like, okay, I figured that out. And then, but yeah, I'm really excited about that stuff. Making more music and changing my sound, tweaking it a little bit, and then getting creative with using different sounds and samples in my music.
That's awesome, man. I'll be looking forward to it. I follow you on Instagram, so I'll be continuing to look at the stuff you post, the chords you play, the vocals, whatever you have to drop. I'm all for it. So now, just kind of an open-ended thing. Is there anything that I missed? Anything that any shout outs you want to give? Any fun facts about you that I missed that I didn't think of asking?
So with the shout out thing, I want to shout out Tevin, that T plus. He's amazing, beat maker, producer. I look forward to his stuff too. And then Sam, he's really good. I love his stuff so far, and I want to listen to more of his stuff, because I think he made an album on Bandcamp, and I haven't listened to it, the whole thing yet, but I need to. Maybe tonight I'll listen to it. But yeah, shout out to those guys.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Tevin. Shout out to Crowded Places.
Shout out to Cool Hand Podcast for having me and being cool.
Hey, yep. I get a shout out. I love it. Yeah. Okay.
On your own show too. That's good.
I'm just reaching all sorts of new heights with this. So yeah, thanks for coming on. I would like to do another interview with you in the future, just because just to see your progress, because you mentioned it yourself. You've been recording music, you've been doing music, but you're entering like a whole new realm in your music career, if you would say. It's not like, this isn't your job, but I'm just going to call it your career, in your music pathway. That sounds a little better. So I would just love to see, to see the difference between you now and then when you get a little more comfortable with everything new that you're doing. Because like, you just have me excited. I'm gonna be honest, you have me excited because you're talking about what you've done in the past and what you're working on. And I'm just, I'm gonna be anxious to hear what you come up with. No pressure. No pressure.
Oh yeah, no pressure.
But I'll be looking forward to whatever you drop whenever. So shout out to you. Now, how do you say your stage name?
So my stage name is Takam. So it's like
Takam.
Yeah, just like call it Takam. It was another name that I was like, I don't know what to like make. I don't know. So like I just like meshed it together as like my first name and my last name, just like Takam.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to just have Tyler Acom. I'm like, I don't know, like personally I was like, I thought that was just kind of lame. So I'm like, I'm gonna make it a little creative, I guess, and then mesh it together.
No, I like
like Ty Benishak.
Yeah, Ty Benishak.
Yeah.
The biblical band. That's what.
Oh yeah. I'll have to tell my bandmates that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I as soon as I heard that, I'm like, you think like what was his name? Mephibosheth?
Yeah, Mephibosheth. Yeah, I think it was. You got it right.
Yeah, somewhere in my personal Bible reading, I'm in like 2 Samuel or something. One of those, Mephibosheth. And he was like crippled or something. But anyway, that's anyway. So yeah, that's what I think of when I see Ty Benishak. Excuse me, I wrote it down. But
Ty
Benishak. But okay. Thank you. We'll close it out here. Any last words?
I have none. I'll be honest, but yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
All that. I look forward to the next episodes, all that stuff that you do.
Thank you. What?
What's that?
You know what? Let me tell you something. You just reminded me something. Okay. You made my day one day. All right. And that has nothing to do with music. So I posted a new episode like a week or two ago, something like that, maybe 3 weeks ago. And I recently just got my podcast posted on Spotify, and I'm using the Anchor.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I'm using Anchor now, and that like automatically puts your stuff on Spotify and some other smaller streaming services.
Oh, okay, cool.
But one of my last ones on SoundCloud, you DM'd me and you said, "Hey, I just finished the recent episode. I like it." I think at this point, I would think I have 3 views on that one, 3 listens, and every listen I appreciate. So, and you sent me a screenshot with, of the timestamp and everything. And I'm like, man, I appreciate it. That's what I was talking about when I said there may be, 50 people who hate it and 1 person who likes it. For that episode, you were the 1 person who gave me feedback, and I appreciated it. And sometimes I'm like, I love doing this, but like nobody's listening. So I appreciated you just saying that you listened and that you enjoyed the show. You could have been lying, not saying you were, but you could have just been like, "Hey, let me tell this dude I like his show."
Yeah, it's just like I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, I'll tell him this just to make him feel good." But no,
it made me feel.
That episode was great because it made you think. And honestly, I was still thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? This is good stuff. Like, yeah, I need to hear it. It was something that I needed to hear, to think about, to appreciate. Just working, doing your duty. And then not getting praise for it, Sometimes you get the pat backs and you're like, oh, it feels good, but like, doing what you're supposed to do type deal, being humble about it. But yeah, that whole episode was amazing. I personally loved it.
Thank you.
Like, just listening to it.
But I even told my wife, I'm like, hey man, this dude, I'm gonna interview him soon. But he DM'd me. He said he liked he said he liked it. I was like, I was happy, man. So thank you for listening, seriously. But yeah, I had to throw that in there. But this is the Cool Hand Podcast. Takam joining us today. Thank you. This is the Cool Hand Podcast. Cool Hand Podcast. Something you got to deal with. Boom. All right.
Just drop the bomb.
Drop the mic. No.